I'm Dr. Shruti Bedi, a Senior Assistant Professor at the University Institute of Legal Studies, Punjab University, and I will be introducing this topic on the National Commission for Protection of Child Rights. The NCPCR, or the National Commission for Protection of Child Rights, is a commission which has been established by the Government of India under the Commission of Protection of Child Rights Act 2005. It started its work in the year 2007 and it works for the implementation, the protection of children's rights all over the country. It works under the aegis of the Ministry of Women and Child Welfare, Government of India, and its mandate is to ensure that all the laws, programs, policies and administrative working in our country work towards the protection of children's rights in the country. The National Commission for Protection of Child Rights, NCPCR, emphasizes the principle of universality and inviolability of child rights and recognizes the tone of urgency in all the child-related policies of the country. For the Commission, protection of all children in the 0 to 18 years age group is of equal importance. Thus, policies define priority actions for the most vulnerable children. This includes focus on regions that are backward or on communities or children under certain circumstances and so on. The NCPCR believes that while in addressing only some children, there could be a fallacy of exclusion of many vulnerable children who may not fall under the defined or targeted categories. In its translation into practice, the task of reaching out to all children gets compromised and a societal tolerance of violation of child rights continues. This would in fact have an impact on the program for the targeted population as well. Therefore, it considers that it is only in building a larger atmosphere in favor of protection of children's rights that children who are targeted become visible and gain confidence to access their entitlements. Likewise, for the Commission, every right the child enjoys is seen as mutually reinforcing and interdependent. Therefore, the issue of gradation of rights does not arise. A child enjoying all her rights at her 18th year is dependent on the access to all her entitlements from the time she is born. Thus, policy interventions assume significance at all stages. For the Commission, all rights of children are of equal importance. The National Commission for Protection of Child Rights, NCPCR, was set up in March 2007 as a statutory body under the Commission for Protection of Child Rights Act 2004, Act 4 of 2006, an Act of Parliament of December 2005. It was set up to protect, promote and defend child rights in the country. The Commission consists of the following members, namely, a chairperson who is a person of eminence and has performed outstanding work for promoting the welfare of children. Number 2, 6 members out of which at least 2 are women appointed by the central government from amongst persons of eminence, ability, integrity, standing and experience in the fields of education, child health, care, welfare or child development, juvenile justice or care of neglected or marginalized children or children with disabilities, elimination of child labor or children in distress, child psychology or sociology, and laws relating to children. The functions of the Commission as laid out in the Act are as follows: to examine and review the safeguards provided by or under any law for the time being in force for the protection of child rights and recommend measures for their effective implementation. to present to the central government annually and at such other intervals as the Commission may deem fit, reports upon the working of those safeguards, to inquire into violation of child rights and recommend initiation of proceedings in such cases, examine all factors that inhibit the enjoyment of rights of children affected by terrorism, communal violence, riots, natural disasters, domestic violence, HIV/AIDS, trafficking, maltreatment, torture and exploitation, pornography and prostitution, and recommend appropriate remedial measures. To look into matters relating to children in need of special care and protection, including children in distress, marginalized and disadvantaged children, children in conflict with law, juveniles, children without family, and children of prisoners, and recommend appropriate remedial measures. To study treaties and other international instruments and undertake periodic review of existing policies, programs, and other activities on child rights and make recommendations for their effective implementation in the best interest of children. To undertake and promote research in the field of child rights. To spread child rights literacy among various sections of the society and to promote awareness of the safeguards available for protection of these rights through publications, media, seminar, and other available means. To inspect or cause to be inspected any juvenile custodial home or any other place of residence or institution meant for children under the control of the central government or any state government or any other authority, including any institution run by a social organization where children are detained or lodged for the purpose of treatment, reformation, or protection, and take up with these authorities any remedial action if found necessary. To inquire into complaints and take suo motu notice of matters related to deprivation and violation of child rights, non-implementation of laws providing for protection and development of children, non-compliance of policy decisions, guidelines, or instructions aimed at mitigating hardships and ensuring the welfare of the children, and to provide relief to such children or take up the issues arising out of such matters with appropriate authorities. Such other functions as it may consider necessary for the promotion of child rights and any other matter incidental to the above functions. The Commission, while inquiring into any matter, has all the powers of a civil court trying a suit under the Code of Civil Procedure 1908, and in particular with respect to the following matters: summoning and enforcing the attendance of any person from any part of India and examining them on oath, requiring the discovery and production of any documents, receiving evidence on affidavits, requisitioning any public record or copy thereof from any court of office, issuing commissions for the examination of witnesses or documents, forwarding cases to magistrates who have the jurisdiction to try the same. On completion of inquiry, the Commission has the powers to take the following actions: to recommend to the concerned government for initiation of proceedings for prosecution or other suitable action on finding any violation of child rights and the provisions of law during the course of an inquiry, to approach the Supreme Court or the High Court concerned for such directions, orders, or writs as that court may deem necessary, to recommend to the concerned government or authority for grant of such interim relief to the victim or the members of his family as considered necessary. The functions assigned to the Commission under the Right to Education Act 2009. Apart from the above, the Right to Education Act assigns the following duties to the NCPCR: to examine and review the safeguards for rights provided by or under this Act and recommend measures for their effective implementation, to inquire into complaints relating to the child's right to free and compulsory education, to take necessary steps after the completion of an inquiry. The functions assigned to the Commission under the POCSO Act 2012. The Commission has been assigned the following functions under the Protection of Children from Sexual Offences POCSO Act 2012 and POCSO Rules 2012. To monitor the implementation of the provisions of the POCSO Act, to monitor the designation of special courts by state governments, to monitor the appointment of public prosecutors by state governments, to monitor the formulation of the guidelines described in the Act by the state governments, etc. Working of the Commission. The Commission may take any of the following steps upon the completion of an inquiry. It may recommend to the concerned government or authority the initiation of proceedings for prosecution of such other suitable action against the concerned person. It may approach the Supreme Court or the High Court concerned for the necessary directions, orders, or writs. It may recommend to the concerned government authority for the grant of necessary interim relief to the victim. The Commission submits its annual or special reports to the central government and to the state government concerned. These reports are laid before the respective legislatures, along with a memorandum of action taken on the recommendations of the Commission and the reasons for non-acceptance of any of such recommendations within 1 year. The Commission visualizes a rights-based perspective flowing into national policies and programs along with nuanced responses at the state, district, and block levels, taking care of specificities and strengths of each region. In order to touch every child, it seeks a deeper penetration into communities and households and expects that the ground experiences gathered at the field level are taken into consideration by all the authorities at the higher level. Thus, the Commission seeks an indispensable role for the state, sound institution building processes, respect for decentralization at the local bodies and community level, and larger societal concern for children and their well-being. In conclusion, I would like to say that the National Commission for the Protection of Child Rights has been specifically addressed and established to work towards a vulnerable section of the society, that is the children. The children who are defined as being below 18 years of age by the Commission itself are those category of people who cannot defend themselves and who do not have the same value and place in society as the rest of the people. Therefore, they need certain protections and redressal of their grievances, which is not available to them in the usual forums. The National Commission for the Protection of Child Rights has specifically been working towards these objectives and has suggested and recommended and worked towards the establishment of special cells in various schools and educational institutions all across the country to address the physical, mental, and emotional issues that may be arising from these sections of the society, that the children can go to these cells and get redressal of their grievances, whether it is the physical aspect, whether it's the emotional or the mental aspect, or the torture that they experience in their personal lives through mediums of sexual harassment or physical abuse in any form that they are facing. The parents always want the children to have the best of the world, but it is the National Commission for the Protection of Child Rights which is actually working to give them their due. The Commission works under the Ministry of the Government of India of Ministry of Women and Child Welfare and has been specifically established to address these concerns, and its mandate is to ensure that all the laws, programs, policies and administrative working in the country works towards or is redressed towards the protection of children's rights in the country. Thank you so much.